example 10 on page 528, multiply the two factors, and each factor has two terms inside. Assume that all expressions under radicals represent non-negative number, because for this statement, it assumes that all the expressions mean A in terms of variable, okay, AB, under the radicals, all are non-negative, meaning A and B, those two variables are greater than or equal to 0. They both are not negative number, okay? So, solution. Given square root of A plus square root of 3 multiplied by square root of B plus square root of 3. To multiply these two factors, we're using the FOIL methods. So I'll take this first term inside the first factor, multiply to each term inside the second factor. Okay? So square root of A times square root of B. And then continue, takes the same term, multiply to the second term inside the second factor. So we have, because it's plus, so plus root 2 times root 3. Okay? And then I would take the second term inside the first factor, multiply by each term inside both terms of the second factor. So I would have plus times this positive is positive root 3 times square root B, plus times plus is plus, square root of 3 times square root of 3. Okay? Let's double check. Take this times this, we get this. Take this times this, we get this. And then take this times this, we have this. And then take this times this, we have this. Okay? It's good to double check, so avoid making a mistake. So, for multiplication, we go here. We only need to check if the two radicals have the same index, okay, root. And it turns out these two terms do have the same radical because both have square root. And square root index is 2, so you can combine them as A times B, okay? And then for this, you can combine them as well when you multiply because both satisfy this condition, plus square root of 3 times A, or A times 3, okay? Plus, again, D2, you can combine them because both have the same square root when you multiply them to check if they have the same index. And they do, because both have square root. Index is 2. 3 times, so square root of 3b. Okay, so 3 times b. Plus, again, you double check the two radicals when you multiply. And it turns out both have the same index. Satisfy this. So same radical, 3 times 3. Simplify as much as we can. We would have square root of ab plus, now you notice that these two terms, you can combine them because even though we don't multiply them anymore, but this time we add them, right? So when you add the two radical terms, you'll check these two conditions for addition or subtraction. First, if both have the same index, okay, root. And yes, right, both have the same square root. Index is 2. Satisfy the first condition. Next, you need to check if the two radicals have the same radicants. They do, right? Because this radical right here has radicand 3a. This radical here has radicand 3b. So both 3a and 3b, actually, you cannot combine them. Because even though they have 3a and 3b, you still cannot combine them. Apologize for that. So even though 3 the same, but a different, b different, so basically you just simplify them because they don't satisfy this same radicals. Okay, so please do not simplify them. I almost misread this. This is a, this is b. They are different variables. So just leave as is, since you cannot combine the two. The last one is this. So I would multiply 3 square. 3 times 3 is 3 square. I intentionally put it at 3 square because this is square root. Square root have index 2. Because this 3 factor has the exponent 2, you know that you can move the 3 outside the square root. That's why I leave it at 3 square with the exponents. Alright, so all these 3 terms, you cannot add them. You already know this. These 2, you cannot add them. And again, you cannot add this term with this term because both have different index, even though they have the same index, k root, but different index, different radicants, different radicants, different radicants. So these 3 radical terms, you cannot combine them. So leave as is. Okay. For this, you can simplify this out because this is square root, index 2, and this factor 3 has exponent 2. 2 and 2 max, you can take this out, 3. Alright, so this is example 10. And after you simplify, you will have this at the answer because, again, you cannot combine these 4 terms. Because these 3 radicals have different radicand, right? AB different from 3A, and 3A different from 3B. And you can check again, this radicand different from these 2 radicands, and this radicand different from these 2 radicands. And this is a constant term that does not have a radical. That means a different term. They're not like terms. So these 4 terms cannot be simplified or combined any further. And that's when you're done. So the answer for example 10 is square root of a times b plus square root of 3a plus square root of 3b plus 3.